touched on exchange rates a little bit, but in terms of the impact on trade, Andy suggested that this was an opportunity to export as much as an issue as we go forward. I mean, are there plans in place to increase people's exporting now that with the exchange rate kind of changing, or is it changing too quickly for people to take advantage of?
I think at the moment the issue is more that's just been said about raw material costs. Everyone's trying to get to grips with the raw material cost increases that are coming through at the moment, and the impact on the individual manufacturing processes, and then potentially the inflationary pressure that's going to put in the construction industry and what impact that will have. Certainly where there are competing products being imported at a finished goods level, again, I go back to what I said before, I think it's an opportunity for us to promote British manufacture again, and hopefully encourage merchants, contractors and everybody to be buying British.
If there's one area of investment that is being released, it is for export. We're seeing it. There's lots of opportunities that literally switched as soon as the Brexit vote went. We saw a big change in our 50% of our business is export, and we really did see a big change. So that's quite easy to invest in.
Is that exporting into new markets, or is that
all over the world? All new markets, new emerging countries, even. We do an awful lot into America as well. Australia is definitely doing very well. Middle East seems to have picked up again. We're very happy with it.
If that's price related, does that mean then if it reverts back the other way and the currency sort of switches around, you're going to lose those export markets? Or do you think, Steve, once you've got into that market, that's it, you've created an opportunity, you can keep that opportunity?
As we talk about product standards, generally when you export and around the world, a UK product
British
thought to
standard
be the best.
Higher standard.
So that maintains in many of the countries.
especially in the Far East and Middle East.
Ultimately, price is a big move for these markets because they're very competitive, quite a lot of them. But I do believe that we have the right products. Throughout the world, you do not see as good quality products as what we seem to produce in the UK.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Sorry, John.
No, so we don't get to sell to any of the other markets directly because we have operating companies pretty much everywhere you'd want to sell. But in the budgeting process, we sort of carve up what's going to be supplied where, and we in the UK will be picking up more export business to send to our sister companies overseas because of what's happened. Now that's a 12-month decision, and then if the exchange rates move, the cost of manufacture, the prices, the margins, and everything else will be reviewed when we do the budget process next year. But next year we will sell more of our capacity to our overseas companies than we have done this year.
And is that because the market has reduced in the UK, or you've chosen to take less market share because as a company you can make more overseas? If that makes sense.
There are several questions in that, some of which I can't really answer. Thank you, Andy.
Pleasure.
It's more about there is excess capacity here. For example, there is excess capacity in the UK, and we have capacity at one of our plants in Turkey. There's a product which we can make in either plant and supply to Australia. It is more profitable on a through basis for the group to make it in the UK because of the way exchange rates have moved than it is to make it in Turkey. So that product which was in Turkey will now be made in the UK and supplied to Australia. It's that kind of decision.
But also if we get house building and we get the growth in the UK, that will swallow up the capacity.
Yeah, it will, but then in my markets, I don't see any capacity issues for some time.
But that's good for your employees, Brexit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Job security and consumer confidence, hopefully. On effect.
Where we've got factories, it's great for the consumer confidence,
But to take Steve's point on the European thing, on the exchange rate, on our products, the lintels is UK based, so we don't export, so we have no benefit there. But on the products and the roof windows made in Poland, and what we find that the European standard for roof windows is completely different than the British standard for roof windows. And it's a far lesser product will do, but of course we manufacture a product for the UK industry, so it's just different production line, different. But there are opportunities, and for us on the roof window world, we are our infancy in exporting against the might of that other big roof window company that you might have heard of before. You're not allowed to mention. You know, it's an opportunity. The Brexit doesn't affect that really either way. That opportunity is there for us anyway to go and grab that market. Any benefit the exchange rate gives us helps, but I suppose everybody else has that same benefit as you were talking about earlier, Andy. So we're kind of doesn't really affect us.
Distinguish between exchange rate and Brexit. You know, I mean, you take the world of glass. I mean, they've been doing that for years in terms of import exports. And the same with other products in the UK. But I agree with John. The capacity is there, so there'll be no big issues on capacity.